Welcome to the Calcio, guys. Just with Gianni Del Colli this week. Adriano's a bit late. Classic 105 excuse.
You were going to blame the STM once again for
No.
tardiness? No?
No.
This time it's Adri? All right.
If there's an error with anything in life, Gianni.
Yes.
The first time, you could excuse it on the technology, the bus driver, the traffic. The second time, there's a user error somewhere. You know what my dad always says?
You have to reload the program. User error found.
You know what my dad always says whenever there's a problem,
what does Zio say?
with the computer?
What does Zio say?
A problem
The classic Tonyisms. Let's go.
is between the computer and the chair. Put yourself between who's between the computer and the chair?
The man,
It's
the
you.
woman, the person.
So, are we going to rip Adriano once he comes in?
Well, a little bit. I don't want to get him too pissed off where he's going to slam his fist on the table once again.
Actually, not much happening this week. Pretty much one game to talk about. We're going to have Gigio Longo join us at 2:30 from Roma Club Philadelphia.
Hey, finally.
To talk about the Azzurri first and then Roma, because I know members from Roma Club Philly, Milan Club Philly, and Napoli Club Philly got together.
Wow.
United forces to watch.
That's nice.
The Azzurri.
Hey, Philadelphia's about like a 9-hour drive. We should go one day.
You've never been?
I've never been to Philly. I've been to Pittsburgh 3 times. I've never been to Philly.
It's a nice city. I went once.
Definitely.
Days,
it's on my list to visit, especially for how close it is.
In 2010. It reminds me a bit of Montreal.
Oh, yeah. It's a very vintage town.
Yeah, it reminds me a bit. It's a rough city, I find. You could tell by anything in the media. People aren't teddy bears there.
No, but I mean, it's a city of brotherly love.
But in another city in the world that's known for its history, Rome. You're wearing a nice Rome shirt.
Yes,
Gianni.
I am. I'm wearing my Totti shirt today.
Italy came out with the win against Greece.
Beautiful win.
The Greeks go to Rome and lose. Haven't we heard that story before?
Many times in its history.
And Jorginho scored the first goal. Classic pen. The commentator actually called it perfectly.
Jorginho normally takes these penalties literally in his stride. The hop, a skip, a jump, a goal, a penalty. Major stride for Italy. It's been a long time coming, but they get their breakthrough.
In his entire career, I have the stat up here. In his entire career, Jorginho has only missed one penalty shot.
And that's
out of
overall?
overall. He's got out of 16 attempts, he's missed once.
Does that include?
It includes every single
levels?
Competition: Serie A, Champions League, qualifying, Coppa Italia's, Premier League, everything under the sun.
Does that include the times he played on the streets with his friends?
No, unfortunately, I don't have that far.
We have to get those stats.
Yeah, but that's pretty impressive. Out of 16 attempts in terms of major competition, only one miss. So.
Pretty clinical, if you ask me.
Yep.
But, I mean, when you're a goalkeeper coming up against Jorginho, when he takes a penalty, you know he's going to do that hop, skip, and jump.
Yeah, definitely. So you don't bite on the first movement.
But then it's all about guessing.
Yeah, but that's every penalty shot. And so now, Jorginho, if I'm not mistaken, is a left-footed player. Correct me if I'm wrong. Please do. I think he's left-footed.
I think he's right, actually.
Let me double-check this.
I'm trying to visualize the goal.
Hold on. I'm looking it up as we speak. I don't know why my brain's thinking left, but my brain sometimes is wrong because it doesn't function
Is it
properly.
broken, Johnny?
Sometimes it breaks down. No, he's right-footed. There we go. I was mistaken. So anyways, he's a right-footed shot. Usually when a player's coming in with a right-footed shot, you got to think he's going for his opposite corner, so it would be the left corner. So as a goalie, you jump. Like, if I was a keeper, you have to take a guess. You have a 1 out of 3 guess. And even at that, when you guess in the right direction, sometimes the shot's too hard for you to stop it, or sometimes it's too slow. You just got to take the guess in the direction. And usually I feel like as if it goes players tend to go in the direction of their opposite foot.
Yeah, sometimes you're pulling it. Because that's actually harder to do, obviously.
But it just tends to be the norm because the way your body's angled when you take the shot.
Yeah.
Unless you're just diving it straight down the middle. But anyways, that's getting a bit off a big tangent here. But Jorginho, 15 goals out of 16 attempts is damn impressive.
Yeah, and moving forward, I don't see why he wouldn't take penalties for Italy.
Nope.
And then I was surprised about this goal. Federico Bernardeschi actually scored for Italy.
I know. I have to give props to the guy. I still would pick Chiesa over Bernardeschi, but in terms of debates that we've had before. But the guy stepped up with Chiesa's injury.
Well, if Bernardeschi came on for Chiesa and Bernardeschi scores,
okay, well, listen.
Does that mean Chiesa scores? No.
It means Bernardeschi scores.
I know, Johnny.
But we lost Chiesa early on. I think it was like around the 15th minute. It was really early in the game, and it seemed to be like a little nagging injury because he was immediately pulled right away. Like, it wasn't even like as if he got contacted by a Greek player. It was just like a weird thing. I think his foot hit the ground or something. He was limping a bit. Mancini did the swap. Bernardeschi came in, and Bernardeschi himself is a dynamic winger as well. And you know what? Good for him. I think that's like his third goal in these qualifiers, second or third?
That I don't know.
Okay, I have to double check that. But anyways, rose to the occasion when we needed him to, so I have to give Bernardeschi full props on that.
Bonucci shoots is the cry. Oh, keeper completely lost the flight of that. And that is a major goal for Italy. Bernardeschi.
And I actually saw a tweet, Johnny, lost in translation, of Federico Chiesa.
Mm-hmm.
He got injured, so it's an English news site that translated an Italian article. Mm-hmm. We all know what Chiesa means.
Yes, of course.
In English, church.
Yes.
And so the headline is Italy, Mancini quotes, church and D'Ambrosio at home. Bernardeschi could give more. So there you go. Church is going home. And then I saw a reply to the tweet. Other players' names who have literal translations in English. Nicolo Barella means stretcher. Immobile could either mean motionless or a building.
Pretty much.
Chiesa, church.
Yep.
You know what Acerbi means?
Actually, no, I do not.
Means unripe. That's what Acerbi means.
Oh, that's interesting.
And Acerbi, plural, just means unripe fruits, I guess.
Probably.
And then Mancini means left-handed.
Yeah.
So
Mancini.
Well,
mane, but the chini part
is
Mancino
means left-handed, so Mancini means many people left-handed.
Because I see the first half that word, but the chino at the end, or chini, just confuses me. But anyways.
Yeah, well, just plural. But anyways, Italy gets to the Euros. I think we're all happy about that.
Definitely.
And they're actually going to play 3 games in Rome come June.
Mm-hmm.
You look confused. You know?
No, I'm listening.
You knew about that.
Yeah.
You knew about that. So it's kind of fitting that they actually won in Rome to qualify their spot in the Euros.
Yeah.
To play in Rome come June on June 12th.
So, but they're not guaranteed a home opener yet.
No,
they're guaranteed the Euro Cup opener.
Yeah.
So they're playing the first game of this. Okay, that's what I'm confused on.
June 12th to 9 p.m.
Okay, because I knew the opening game was in Rome. I wasn't sure if they were guaranteed that game.
Yeah, they are, because obviously how it works, every group gets assigned 2 hosts this year.
Yeah.
If both teams make it, so the hosts are guaranteed 2 games at home in the group stage. When both hosts make it,
yeah,
the third game is decided by a draw or different circumstances. Italy's Group A, gets drawn with Baku, Azerbaijan. They have 1 point in qualifying. They're not going to make it. Italy's safe. 3 games in Rome, June 12th, June 17, June 21st. Any early expectations?
Going into the Euro, this is not a tested squad. That's the only thing that worries me right now. The Italy's qualifying group, their biggest competition was, you could probably argue, the Greeks. I mean, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. So you can't really think that this is a team that played against strong teams and your solidified squad. They haven't been bent into pressure yet. And I think that come the big competition, if they get put into an easy group, they might have that same feeling again, like that it should be fine because they're naturally talented. But when you're playing against the Belgians, the Germans, we have to say Poland themselves
they qualified too.
Yeah, they're getting up there. Congrats to Ukraine yesterday for beating Portugal and qualifying a 10-man Ukraine. I think they only got to the 10th man after they scored their second goal, though, I believe. But you have to give props to Shevchenko himself. Anyways, long story short, the teams that are on the rise, these are the solidified teams, and Italy hasn't played against any of them, so we don't know how they're going to be.
I think, 7 wins. It's not like it's 4 draws and 4 wins and 3 draws. It's 7 wins. It's maximum points. They're playing Liechtenstein later today. Obviously, the easiest team in the group. But obviously, with the home stadium advantage, playing in Rome,
nice.
That's going to be a huge advantage. And I think their expectations early on is going to be to win the group. But we're going to have to cut the break, Johnny. On the other side of break, we're going to continue talking about, I guess, the Azzurri.
Yep.
Preview their game against Liechtenstein. And then injuries over the international break here on the Calcio Guys on CGO 6090.
It's confirmed. Italy will be in the European Championship next summer. A perfect 7 out of 7.
I was going to say your life is in a better standing if you listen to the Calcio Guys.
No.
On CGO 6090 with Gianni Delacoli. I'm Nicholas DiGiovanni. Adriano is still late.
Yes, he's still not here. This is later than he usually is.
If he was a soccer player, Adriano, his team would have to start with 10 men every single game.
Pretty much.
But you heard their final call against Greece, so Italy plays Liechtenstein today. Do you have the starting lineup?
I have a probable lineup. I don't have the starting lineup yet. I think the starting lineup has...
I know the Azzurri released it on Twitter. Let me just pull that up.
I have a probable lineup. I don't know if I should start saying it or wait for you to find it.
10 new starters. Okay, so we got Vincenzo Grifo, Bellotti, Bernardeschi, Zaniolo, Cristante, Verratti, Baraghi, Romagnoli, Mancini, Di Lorenzo, and Sirigu in nets.
Yeah.
Pretty young team. Moving forward, I think this is what Italy has to focus on. If you're Roberto Mancini, you treat these remaining games against Armenia and Bosnia next match day, including this one against Liechtenstein, as friendlies.
Yes and no. They're still qualifying games, so they're still somewhat competitive. What are our remaining games, actually?
So Liechtenstein, Bosnia, and Armenia.
I'm looking at the point standings here. Yeah, for Armenia, it probably would be the only. Actually, no, Bosnia would be a team that would be fighting for its qualification spot. So the match against Bosnia is going to be somewhat competitive compared to the other two. So that one I don't think you should treat as a friendly. But these ones, especially Armenia and Liechtenstein, you should probably treat it as a game to experiment with your younger players. As I said last week, our back line is not getting any younger, and that's in my opinion, the spot where we should stress the most in testing out the younger players. Our midfield is already solidified. They're young to middle age players, so we're great. Our forwards are a mix of young and veterans, so we're great there. It's our back line where I have the question mark on right now. So if I was Mancini, I would be experimenting on the back four, or if you want to be really defensive, which I don't suggest you do, the back five.
No.
I don't think I've seen Italy play back five in a very long time, but
I don't think they have enough center backs right now to solidify.
I think in Euro 2016 against Germany they played a back five.
Well, that was Conte. That was or was it more of a back three. It was a 3-5-2.
It was a 3-5-2, but the two of the mids on the wing, they just kind of stayed back. But anyways, I digress. I think these are the Liechtenstein and Armenia games are the games where you play around with your defense, and if you want to try test out some of your forwards to see who you're going to put as your starters, sure. Because like I said, our mid is already solidified. There's no question who's going to be starting three. It's going to be Sensi, Verratti, and Jorginho.
I think they're going to look at definitely who is going to replace them as subs, who's going to be those depth midfielders like Pellegrini, possibly Cristante. Who else is there? You could have Zaniolo too.
Yeah, definitely.
Possibly Tonali, even though he's not.
Tonali, I think he's still somewhat inexperienced. You should give him a bit more time in Serie A. Just to bring him up, just to see the action, I think that's beneficial for him. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make the final roster. I wouldn't say I'm not discrediting him. I'm just saying maybe he's too inexperienced. Even guys like Zaniolo, as much as I love Zaniolo, I still think he's still, even though he's already had like a bit of a half a season almost in Serie A, he's still not seen enough top level play in order to feel like as if he's ready to handle it. Unless, I don't know, if they want to prove me wrong, by all means. I'm not the coach, but that's just my personal opinion. But I think those are the two guys that, in terms of mid, I don't see making the final roster.
And looking forward, at least for the next round of games, so this time Chiesa gets hurt, D'Ambrosio gets hurt.
Yeah.
Looking elsewhere, Lukaku was already hurt, Zapata got hurt with Colombia, Sanchez got hurt too. Do you think coaches now in the Serie A that Italy qualified, they have almost nothing left to play for except for finishing in the top 6 of the number 1 seeds to have pot 1 come draw? Do you think some of the coaches and management around the Serie A are going to tell Mancini, hey, look, this guy's a bit banged up, don't take him? Or if there's any sort of knock in the week leading up to the international break, they're going to tell their guy or they're going to tell their trainers, hey, he's injured. Make sure he doesn't go on international duty. Do you think that's going to happen?
It actually has to depend on the manager themselves. For example, in the case like Verratti, if he were to have, like, let's say a little nagging little pain or injury, I don't think PSG would send him, because PSG doesn't really care for the Italian league itself. But in terms of players in the local market, it has to depend on the depth of the team. It's hard to say. If it's a player who's a key, well, obviously they're all national team players. They obviously all have key roles on the team. But if they're players that cannot be replaced at the time, I don't see them being let go. But in the end, I mean, if the player doesn't have any injuries and the player wants to go, I think they should just go. I don't think they're going to be held back.
I think there's going to be a lot of suspicious injuries.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be definitely, it has a little nagging pinky toe injury.
Especially considering it's nothing left to play for. And I'm sure Edin Dzeko and Miralem Pjanic are going to tell their Italian teammates from Rome and Juventus, hey, you're hurt. You shouldn't be playing. Hey, I heard that guy's hurt. Make sure he doesn't go play against us because we want to qualify.
Well, I mean,
when Bosnia plays Italy.
I don't think they're going to do stuff like that. I think there's a camaraderie between the players, that there's a respect between the players. Guys like Pjanic and Dzeko, I think, would prefer playing against the best teammates, because I think they have some kind of level of mutual respect. But if it's a key player that gets injured or is actually not going to go because of a injury, I think themselves internally might be happy about that, but they're still going to want to see the best possible roster to play against their team, because they don't want to. I don't think any team wants to qualify because of a technicality. I don't think, like, remember when there was a rumor like 2 years ago when Italy didn't qualify for the World Cup, but because there was an issue with Team USA,
Peru,
there was an issue with Peru, and they're like, oh wait, maybe Italy might qualify in their place, blah blah blah. And I'm like, do you guys really want to go in terms of a technicality? Is it like really the best way to qualify? So I don't think any self-respecting soccer player would be like, you know what, I'd rather go up against a very injury-riddled Italy team in order to qualify, because you know what, screw that. You know, like they really feel like, nah, I would rather play against the best team.
So Bosnia, by the way, they play Greece today, at the same time that Italy plays Liechtenstein in about 20 minutes. And then November 15th, so exactly a month from now, Bosnia hosts Italy, and then they play their last game against Liechtenstein. Finland is 15 points. They have 2 games left against Liechtenstein and Greece. And Armenia is in there too.
Yeah.
They have, again, 2 games played in third place against Greece and Italy. So it's going to be tougher for Armenia to qualify. Finland with a surprise draw against Armenia. It was Armenia with a surprise draw against Liechtenstein this past weekend, which allowed Italy to qualify. And looking elsewhere, Sanchez got hurt on a tackle from Cuadrado in a Chile versus Colombia match.
Yep.
And that's something, it's a couple of months Sanchez is going to be out. Inter can't be happy.
No, I think it was something that was been brewing for like a while. I think those two players have a bit of not a bone to chew with each other, but I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean? Like I've heard, I was looking up a bit of that. I saw it on Twitter, and I saw that they have a tiny history with each other in terms of not liking each other. So I don't know how to put it into words, but obviously
a
rivalry, but it's not really a rivalry because they haven't played against each other in terms of competition. I don't know how to explain it. Like, when I say rivalry, I think guys like Messi, Ronaldo, and I think rivalry because it's either one or the other, and it's definite one or the other. Sanchez and Cuadrado, okay, if you want to put it as a rivalry, sure, but it's not really a rivalry. But anyways, I'm getting off topic.
I wanted to ask you, Johnny.
Yeah.
And I would have liked, maybe, I don't know, I'll bring it up. You tell me if we should wait for Adriano later on in the show after we interview Gigio from Roma Club Philly. Cristiano Ronaldo scored his 700th career goal.
Yes.
In all competitions between Portugal, Lisbon, Real Madrid, Manchester United, and Juventus. 700 career goals.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, who is the real greatest player of all time?
You're asking
on the international stage.
Maradona. He's won 2 World Cups for Argentina.
Adriano's here. Maybe we could ask him.
one of which he won on his own. I know there was that little hand of God controversy, but Maradona...
VAR would have ruled that out.
Yeah, but in terms of... Okay, if you want to talk about international stage... Sorry, my laptop's on the wire.
Because Cristiano Ronaldo carries Portugal.
No, he does, but Maradona carried Argentina to 1 World Cup and arguably a second. There was one that was guaranteed if Maradona wasn't on a team, Argentina wasn't winning that championship, England would have won.
Well, if he had no right hand,
no, but
they wouldn't have won either.
No, but the second goal that he scored, he deked the entire team. Mind you, at the time, soccer defensive quality wasn't as great as it is today, but that's off topic. Maradona himself won 2 World Cups.
And he also eliminated Italy in 1990 at the Stadio San Paolo.
Yes.
Famously, as the Italian fans cheered for Argentina.
Well, because it was a Napolitans, because that guy won a Europa Cup for Napoli.
Well, he was their prodigy. He was their son.
Yeah, and I'm not big on Maradona. I'm just saying the guy himself, you can't deny it. If you want to talk about internationally, Maradona. In terms of all competition, Ronaldo, whenever he goes to any team himself, he makes them win. He won championships with Man United. He won championships with Real Madrid. My memory doesn't go that far back to Lisbon, and I'm not quite sure of his history, but I'm pretty sure he won some stuff in Portugal too. And now with Juventus, he already won once. Mind you, it's Juventus. They're going to win the championship no matter what. But like that one game versus Atletico Madrid where he scored the 3 goals last year, that's just Ronaldo being Ronaldo.
Adri, quickly, your first, you get substituted in, you show up late. Who's the GOAT on the international stage after, we're talking about this because Ronaldo scored 700 career goals.
Yeah, I mean, I think, back in time, like you said, Maradona, Pelé, those are the names there out there. But, I mean, I think you can't disagree with what Ronaldo's done internationally. As you said, he carries Portugal. He's been in Portugal for now a number of years now, and 700 career goals, that's not something to laugh at either. So for me, I mean, love him or hate him, I would say probably Ronaldo as of now, just on top of my head, but there's also all kinds of legends of the game from past, but as of right now, I think Ronaldo.
How was the bus ride, Adri?
I understand, man.
A bit of traffic.
There's traffic at 2 o'clock here in Montreal, I don't understand.
People have to get places.
But nobody works.
Not working.
I know. I'm here, but I don't know.
I just came from work.
Yeah, anyways, I don't know. Traffic, red lights, buses not coming on time, so it's a bit of a mess today.
We're going to ask Gigio from Roma Club Philadelphia about soccer, not traffic. We're going to talk about soccer, about the Azzurri and the Giallorossi next on the Calcio Guys on CGO 6090. That was Nulla Impossibile from Nero Argento here on the Calcio Guys on CGO 6090 with Gianni Del Colli, Adriano Donardo, I'm Nicholas DiGiovanni, and we have Gigio from Roma Club Philadelphia on the line with us. Gigio, how's it going?
Buongiorno. Hi.
How are you?
Tutto a posto, you know?
That's good. So, as we saw on social media this week, Roma Club Philly, Azzurri fan Phil, who was a guest on our show earlier in August, and Milan Club Philly got together to watch the Azzurri, and you were there, so can you tell us a bit about these 3 clubs reuniting to watch the national team?
Sure. Well, we started coming together about 4 years ago during the Euro qualifications, not the European Cup. And that, ended with a huge game against Germany where all of our social networks got together and we were able to pull together over 100 people to come watch the game at Grand Cafe. And since then, we've been able to create a great discourse in the city of Philadelphia about Serie A, where a couple of years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, if you wanted to go watch a Serie A game in a bar, no one would turn it on for you. So we have a special place here at Grand Cafe L'Aquila where Italy, Italy-Liechtenstein will be on in 15 minutes. And in the morning, Roma's playing at 9 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m., it'll be on. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So it was a exciting game to get together, and now we're looking for the rebound. I guess just to give you an idea on how deep rooted my fandom is for the Azzurri goes. I'll go back to my memory as a youth. Everyone here, we always talk about the old Azzurri teams. I go back to 1982. I was 7 years old. My parents are immigrants from Italy. They moved here in 73, and my parents dressed myself and my brother up like Dino Zoff and Paolo Rossi.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah. And I don't know if you remember that was before you could buy jerseys. My parents made the shirts for us.
Wow.
So that's how rooted my Azzurri passion goes. And we've connected here in Philadelphia with other people that are like that. I've met people that I would say that the current sort of jersey market is only like 20, 30 years old. You couldn't buy Azzurri shirts long ago, but there are people walking in here with shirts. I'm like, whoa, where'd you get that? I saw there's a guy here with a Scalacci jersey. I was like, wow, that's amazing. Where'd you get that? But I'd say, flash forward to Saturday's game. Some are saying it was a fantastic result, especially considering all the pain that we as fans went through with not qualifying for Russia. However, I think some of us here in Philly were in the camp of negativity a little bit. I'm not sure if you know the term negadelphia.
We do now.
But here in Philly, we dissect everything positive and we find the negative. So, some of us were not convinced by Mancini's side and how they played against a terrible Greece team. It's languishing in the bottom of Group J. It was funny watching the game because they were using some of our old playbook against us, playing a catenaccio, counterattack. If you look at the first half, Italy didn't even manage a shot on target. I'm happy, but we're like negative at the same time.
So
I think some people are a little more ecstatic with the streak, but
yeah. So
I was in Montreal. Everyone is happy with the streak and how everything went.
Oh yeah, we're all pretty excited about it. It's nice to see that we've actually made a major competition since we missed out on the last one. So it feels great. But I think our feelings are pretty much the same around you guys, where we're like, okay, great win, we're in there, but we're not fully convinced yet. But in terms of the game itself, or just the team in general right now, the Azzurri, who you think is your number one player on the team, and who's your least favorite? Who do you think are going to be like the guys who are going to be like the difference maker?
Right now, my number one favorite player didn't make the squad. I was loving Quagliarella. He was I thought he was a nice addition. He brought something good to the team. Who knows? Maybe some more goals would have been scored against Greece. Trying to think who else? What's the guy from PSG?
Verratti.
Yeah, Verratti. I thought that he really showed something in the last couple of games that he wasn't showing previously in other Euro games, and he really, I think he showed a lot of passion on the field, and passion's important, and he was all over the field. Something I didn't understand about some of the plays were how Verratti was playing. He seemed to be playing very deep, right? When Zola was flying up the flank. So for me, it was a little strange watching, but I guess that was part of the tactics, was keeping Verratti back and Spinazzola letting him play, even though he was in the fourth defender in the back. Right? Did you see that as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I thought the tactics were interesting, but I would say my least favorite, which probably would be shocking to most people, is Ciro Immobile. I just but it's not me being a Romanista and not like Giallorossi. But I just have to go with Ciro. I respect his play in Serie A. He's a beast. I mean, that was 7 goals in 7 games this year. But on the world stage, he's only had 1 goal in the past 2 years, like 10 games without finding the net for Italy. I mean, questo non è buono. I think Mancini needs to keep his options open for 2020. Belotti is off to a great start as well. 5 goals, 7 matches. If he stays in form, he might not be as much of a head case as Ciro is. You can see the international goal drought having an effect on him. In all the interviews, that's all people talk about. That's what he talks about. Who knows? It might be too much pressure.
So going further, now that we actually are in the tournament for Euro 2020, and with this attack that I personally think is a bit lackluster, and it's probably our weakest point on the squad, any expectations that you do have for this Azzurri team going into Euro 2020, the attack, what maybe changes would you make as well?
I think we just have to see what comes up over the next couple months, who emerges. That's why I think that you just can't put Ciro in there. Like, who's to say that Mario Balotelli doesn't find form?
Yeah.
Brescia.
Yeah.
He's played 2 games so far since the suspension's over. He scored 1 goal. Who knows? He might explode and score 20 goals and catch fire. But I'm not saying Balotelli. He's a head case too. But there might be another option out there. But I do like Mancini's tactics. I like seeing a pressing Italian offense. After years of watching Catenaccio, you kind of want to see some offense.
For sure.
So it's kind of like, it was really, for me, it was very interesting just watching the way Spinazzola. I was like, whoa, what's he doing? Why is he running up there? What's going on? There are tactics on the field. Unlike, I don't want to even mention our old manager.
I respect that. Don't mention him. Don't mention him.
Yeah. The tactics were very lacking there, let's say.
Yeah.
So you can see that Mancini is bringing a lot to the table. It's very different. The team seems excited. They seem to be following, forward with what he wants, what he's preaching. I read a bunch of interviews that say, it doesn't feel like international duty. It feels like we're playing for the club. And I found that interesting.
And so moving away from the Azzurri now, you're obviously VP of Roma Club Philadelphia. Tell us a bit how you got into your Roma passion and into this club.
So that definitely goes pretty deep. My father is from Rome, and he always had a home there. So going back to when I was a little kid, we would spend, instead of going to summer camp or the Jersey Shore, my parents, we would go to Italy for 2-3 months. July, August, Ferragosto, and we would stay in Rome. And just the passion for Rome, the city, and eventually the team just overcame me. My like the Italia jerseys, one of the first sweaters my parents got me was a Roma shirt that when I was like 7 years old. And then I would say like the true real passion probably kicked in. I went to school there in '96 and did 4 or 5 games at the Olimpico right when Totti started catching on fire there. So it was some of my first really soccer games for Calcio in Italy was at Stadio Olimpico. So it's like I couldn't pick any other team. My parents lived there. I went to school there. When I hear people that are from Rome and they root for teams like Juve, I'm like, I don't understand. How can you not be in love with Rome? And it's like, So there's a guy I know in town here. It's from Rome, and he roots for Juve. I'm like, how do you do that? I'm like, how can you root for Juve? He's like, oh, my dad's a Juve fan, but your dad's from Rome too. So like the passion lies deep, and then when we started, and it was hard for a long time to really watch the games. Every once in a while you get a game on Rai, and then you get a game here and there, Champions League on ESPN. But it it's been amazing the last couple of years with BN and now especially ESPN2 that you can watch every single game. It's amazing. So now you can really follow and you really get into the games, and you can like last weekend or the weekend before Inter Juve was playing, so you had a great game there to watch. So now it's a great time for Serie A fans, and I think it's time. It's like our time now. Premier League had their time, and I think it's time for Serie A to.
So coming back to Serie A and actually closer to our team, Roma. So what's your take on the season this year?
Johnny's a Roma fan, by the way. If you don't see it, I know you don't see it. He's wearing a Roma shirt right now.
I'm wearing a Totti shirt that Nicholas got me when he went to go visit Italy. But yeah, so obviously last year we didn't have a great season. It wasn't the best of times. It was probably the worst of times. But what do you think of this year? I'm pretty hopeful. How about you?
No. I believe in what Petracchi and Fonseca are putting together. I think that there's a real quality in the players and the tactics. For me, like Fonseca checks off a lot of boxes that I want in a manager. I remember there was a couple things he said in his interview that really caught me. That because I don't know if he was just doing fan placating, but I was like, wow, this sounds like someone that I want in charge of the team I support. He was like, he said, the fans must go home after the game, and I hope that the team played well and they won because they were courageous. That is very important for me. Every game, like last year, the team, when you watched the team, they didn't feel courageous. When they lost to Spal last year, oh my God, that's not a team that is coming to play.
Unless you're Lazio, you lose to Spal all the time.
But even though last game against Cagliari, when they tied, I thought that they played well, and they played with courage. And I think as a Roma fan, that's what you want. That's what you ask for. What else he said? He also said something about winning. Winning is important, but getting the tactics right and playing right is important as well. And I kind of agree with that as well. So, the team, I feel it's young. It has a lot of potential. I mean, the one thing that is hurting the team is the injuries. It's crazy. I mean, he has I don't know. Can you name all the players?
Dzeko, Florenzi, Pellegrini. Who else?
Diawara.
Yeah, Perotti, Diawara, Zappacosta, Under.
Yeah.
What was it? Florenzi's out with influenza now.
What, really? Yeah. I did not notice
that's why
that.
He wasn't with the national team.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I've been sleeping on that.
He'll probably be back maybe this week.
Oh, God. Okay, hopefully.
We'll see. I think Perotti's back this week. I mean, the international break could not have come at a better time. It gave giving Mkhitaryan some time to get better. Hopefully, that's 2. I think they said his recovery is 5 weeks. So the international break covers 2 weeks of that 5. So you only miss 3 of the Campionato games.
Yeah. So Gigio, just to wrap this up, we got a good question here from Azzurri fan Phil on Instagram. I don't know, poking maybe a bit of fun at you or you're the Napoli Roma duo there. What result are you expecting in the upcoming Roma Napoli showdown in about a couple weeks?
You know what? Remind me. Will that be at Stadio Olimpico or in São Paulo?
I believe it's at the São Paulo, if my memory serves me right.
São Paulo.
I think so.
I think so too.
No, Napoli is not playing that well right now. They lost the last 2 games, right?
In Champions League and
they lost to Cagliari.
They draw both games. They drew both games.
Yeah, they lost points in both games.
They lost points in both games, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't win. They drew both.
I am feeling that the Napoli side is starting to falter, and I'm not going to go big bold decision. I'm going to go 1-1.
Okay. Play it safe then. Playing it safe.
If you told me Stadio Olimpico, I'd go 1-0, but I'm going to go 1-1.
Okay, it should be fun there at Grand Cafe then.
And keep the peace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Azzurri fan Phil on Twitter, he gets a little bantery.
Yeah, he sure does.
Anyways, thanks so much for joining us here on the Calcio Guys, Gigio.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Ciao.
Ciao, guy.
Bye.
Coming up next on the Calcio guys on CJO 6090, teeing up Serie A match day 8. So we actually got a text here on the Calcio guys on CJO 6090. You could text us 514-848-7471. Your thoughts about the Azzurri, your own clubs. And Big Mike in Rosemount says, Forza Milan, Rossoneri, great. The Azzurri qualified for Euro 2020, but they're not going to win. LOL, just like the Canadians. LOL, Forza Milan, good afternoon, gentlemen. So thanks,
Big Mike. I like
Rosemount.
that you're from Rosemount. You're a Milan fan like me, so we get along pretty well, I would think. If you are interested, definitely come and check out Milan Club Montreal in St. Leonard. We're always looking for new members and new people to cheer for our beloved Milan.
At least he's not a Juve fan, thank
Exactly.
God.
Thank
Wow. I'm personally attacked here.
So shout out Big Mike.
And Italy up 1-0 already on Liechtenstein. Bernadeschi with the goal, Berardi with the cross. Shout out to TSN Direct, by the way. I'm watching the game on my phone. Are you watching the game on your phone, Adriano?
No, I'm not.
I am. So shout out to Bell and TSN for that.
For sure.
Serie A match day 8. It's back after the international break. It's one thing I don't like about the international break. You only get one game to watch, or two, depending on who you follow.
Yeah.
Versus 10 every single weekend during the season. A couple of good games. Sampdoria Roma, I think, is my game of the week because of the stories behind it. Claudio Ranieri, first game with Sampdoria against his former club. He just replaced Eusebio Di Francesco at Sampdoria the same way he replaced him at Roma last year.
Exactly.
This is storylines written all over it.
Yeah.
Lazio Atalanta is a good game. And then Sassuolo Inter. Usually you hear Sassuolo Inter, you think, okay, whatever, it's a good team against mid-table team.
There's an interesting stat to that one, I see.
Yeah, and Inter all-time versus Sassuolo, so since 2013 in Serie A, 12 games, 4 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw, and they're winless in the last 5. Sassuolo only has 2 losses at home versus Inter. They're pretty much their kryptonite. Inter's kryptonite.
Yeah. They have been for the Milan teams, Berardi and the Sassuolo team. De Zerbi, prepares them pretty well, and they always seem to get away with a point with these Milan teams. So it's no surprise to me, but it's an interesting stat nonetheless.
So, Johnny, are you surprised Ranieri replaced Di Francesco? I mean, you saw it happen at Roma last year.
He's the king of caretakers.
Ranieri.
No, but this is a permanent contract. He signed until 2021.
Ranieri
we'll see how long it lasts, though.
He's a solid coach. I have faith in Ranieri. I mean, he rises to the occasion when you need him to. How long was this contract that he signed for? Did it say how long the term was?
So, I think June 2021, so a year and a half.
Okay, so it's pretty good. It's a short-term replacement because I wouldn't put him longer than 2-3 seasons. 3 seasons really pushing it because Ranieri is that temporary solution coach, but he's not the one that's going to have that
might put you over the edge.
Yeah, put you over the edge, or has that
unless it was with Leicester City.
Yeah, but that was just like phenomenal. That was a miracle. But that's the thing, though. Ever since that incident, ever since he made Leicester City win the championship in the Premier League, that's just put on his CV. No matter, he has average seasons across the board. Besides that one season where he won the title, and ever since then, he can use it to his argument. Yeah, but I won the Premier League championship with Leicester City. What can you expect? So that's why teams take a gamble on him. I'm not trying to knock the guy. He's a Romanista at heart. He stepped up for Roma last year when he needed him, and he did the job to help end the season. But in terms of, let's say, a longer than a 2-year, 3-year coach, I wouldn't put it on Ranieri. I think, honestly, he's just going to be a temporary solution for them.
I agree. I think Sampdoria's in a bit of up in the air at the moment from I think ownership down to, you said, as the coach and the players.
They're in relegation spots, so they're in trouble.
That's what I'm saying. So I think it's from top to bottom. It's a bit of a mess at Samp, which I personally wasn't expecting, but it is what it is, and that's the situation that they got going now. But as you said, I think Ranieri can go in there and not, I think he probably can save them. I would hope so, at least. But we'll see what he can do.
Speaking about Leicester, I saw a quote today from IFTV. They posted it from Fabio Paratici, one of the directors at Juventus. He said, Atalanta could be Italy's Leicester. Sorry, but I wholeheartedly disagree with that because the way the Serie A is and how it's just Juventus at the top, it's not competitive the way the Premier League is. I'm sorry, Atalanta. I don't see them winning a title anytime soon. But
I
I mean, they made Champions League. They did good enough for that.
But I think what he's trying to say from that is that he pins them as the team that, out of the usual suspects that fans usually take to win the championship, he says that's probably going to be the dark horse team. And you can't disagree with. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. You can't really disagree with his way of thinking there. If you're going to take a dark horse team, like a really left field team, it's Atalanta. Because when you say who's going to win the Scudetto, usual suspects, Juve, Napoli. Now this year you put Inter into the conversation because they added so much.
Yeah.
So obviously that makes sense when you say that. But to pick Atalanta, it's like you're taking a gamble because they have a great team. So this is where I see your point, because they already have a good team, but as a team that's not going to be part of the usual suspects to win, that's where he's right. They're out of the other top tier teams, he's like the dark horse team.
I think, obviously they're the Cinderella story from last year. Making it all the way to the Champions League, first time in their history. So I think there's probably pros and cons to what Paratici is saying. I think things will only change, and maybe this can come true that they could be the Leicester. Maybe once. The dominance of the teams you named, the Juves, the Napolis, the Inters, kind of maybe slow down, and we kind of get a new Serie A. But I think until then, it'll probably be, as you said, those usual suspects up there at the top of the top of the league.
And so, looking at some of the other games, Milan plays Lecce.
Yeah,
they have to bounce back.
Of course, first game under Pioli. There was a whole turmoil, and this international break kind of, I think, maybe, put some, I don't know what it is, but I think the international break came at a good time, I guess, for this coaching change. Giampaolo out, Pioli in, even though there was that Pioli out hashtag that was trending, which I found personally ridiculous.
Immediately as he got hired.
Yeah, before he was hired, for me, it's completely, if I had to give a late red card, I would probably give it to that. But yeah, they definitely has to bounce back. I think Pioli can gather the troops, and I think he's a guy who can have the locker room and can get these guys, I hope, on the same page, whereas Giampaolo, I think, couldn't. So for me, I know it's a Lecce, and I know we speak about the bigger teams against Lecce, and it's not much competition, but these are the games you have to win, and if you want to be a good team. So I'm expecting a win, and I hope Pioli gets his first win, first game.
I know Juve plays Bologna, and then so Roma Sampdoria. Got 2 minutes. Any predictions for that game?
For Roma Samp?
Or
Samp Roma, sorry?
Just that one. Do you think Roma's going to be sucked into this whole storyline of Ranieri coaching his former team?
I think they're going to have a bit of respect for him, and they're going to pay their respects. But Roma's still going to come to play. Like when it comes to the field, you put all that aside. No matter who's manager or the player against their side, you still have a job to do to win the game. Roma, their wins lately or their draws have become like fortunate events. So I think Roma should probably step up their game and start showing that they're not a team that can get results by fortunate events. They could actually get them on their own. They're starting to slip down the table a bit. Right now they're fifth. So I think they're going to be looking for a win, especially when you got Lazio breathing down their necks. So I actually picked Roma to win probably 2-1.
Quickly, Adriano, scoreline?
Scoreline, I think they'll win. They can't deserve. They don't deserve to lose, and they can't lose. So especially, Jenny said, going down the table there.
So that'll do it for us here on the Calcio Guys on CJO 690. Thanks again to Gigio from Roma Club Philadelphia.
Yeah, make sure to follow us on all our social media platforms at the Calcio Guys. Follow us on SoundCloud, Mixcloud, all the clouds for our our podcast, and we're on the road to 500 followers on both platforms. So definitely support us.
Anyways, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Ciao.